We have come through an extraordinary week, and South African politics are quite, we're a young democracy, so we tend to overreact or underreact. And after a period of long underreacting, the last years we've seen civil society, business, we talked about the stalwarts earlier, ANC people outside the ANC built popular opinion. And so we've created this climate that we're all describing today. And I think we must take credit in the sense that this is a constitutional democracy. And that's a very important part about the way forward, is that this last year, between the courts, the media, public opinion, civil activists, and Parliament, how Parliament conducted itself in the last few days, is a strengthening of our democratic constitutionalism. And very often in business, we're so busy trading and doing business, we lose sight of the fact that that's a critical infrastructure. So I just wanted to start there as we look ahead. How do we build an inclusive economy? And how do we grow our economy? Well, the answer that we're hearing everywhere is it is about transformation. And maybe what we've all got to think about is why you've come for the day, is to think about the personal transformation at an individual level. And then to think about your business and whether your business has a plan and an intention for transformation. And then we go to sectors, as we saw with mining yesterday, we will see with agriculture and other sectors, manufacturing. How do we transform these whole sectors to make them inclusive and accessible and to be properly capitalized? In terms of where does government start, I think the economists have painted the picture very accurately. We're in a very tight position. We've blown the credit card. We've done huge damage to our credit worthiness through the state-owned enterprises. And we're in a recovery mode. And the Zuma tax will be upon us tomorrow. We will now pay in VAT and other taxes for the damage that's been done. But I would agree with the earlier comments from the panel that we're resilient. We've got the institutions. We've got the legislative environment. And that I'm quite optimistic that with the right team, because that's what we're waiting for, is to see what this team looks like. There is a good sentiment, even though it's a little over the top maybe. You know, let me just say this, that what I worry about, because we've never had a man in the leadership, happens to be a man, with this range of experience. As a student leader, a union builder, SG of the ANC, business person and deputy president. This is the opportunity of a lifetime to pull this country together. So assuming he gets the right team around him and makes the consultations and compromises, we have a great opportunity in the next 3 to 5 years to deepen democracy and make this economy grow again. So a lot of constraints fiscally. There is some wiggle room. I think Azar put his finger on it there, and Iraj, there's some short-term things that can be done to balance the books reasonably. But the idea that we can suddenly take off is, I don't think, correct. And secondly, that it's not solvable is not correct. There is a middle path. So government's got to come up with a pro-poor spending policy. Because all the numbers that we like to ignore, I like to ignore, when you deal with the demographics, the youth unemployment, the poverty, that is the central question for this country. How do we redress the past through growth? And I've argued, last thought, that economic growth is the oxygen of our democracy. That without economic growth, we can't generate taxes or borrow money. We can't then redress the deep structural problems, and I think the finger was put on it very well earlier, which is in a knowledge economy, it's education. I grew up in a mining economy. It was mining that brought us banks and retailers. We are no longer a centrally mining economy, we are a services economy. And so the education system is the hidden disease. We talked about Zuma and corruption as a cancer, the general said that. I would say education and skills is the long-term question. So I'm sure we're all reflecting on what can we each do to build the skills base we need for a modern economy.